This is a Visa credit card. This has a chip on it, see? Peter Daly, who I will have on my show today, was actually the head of US acquiring for Visa. Peter was part of the team that helped advance the introductions of these solutions into the marketplace. And he's on my show today. Payment processing happens every day of the week. IMG, Independent Merchant Group, the first ever to create transparency for merchants. Clients include Rolex, Breitling, Make-A-Wish Foundation, American Express Vacations, Margaritaville Restaurant Group, and a few others. Sold the company to private equity in 2016. This man is the tech genius behind it all. Created the proprietary software for IMG, helping it to become the largest merchant services auditing company in America, monitoring in excess of just $22.5 billion. That's all. What these three all have in common is, ready, drum roll, GettinLocal. GettinLocal is an innovative app that's revolutionizing the hospitality industry. But how, Max? How are they innovating the hospitality industry? You just gotta watch and find out for yourself. But before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the music. Welcome everybody back to another great edition of MaxTV. I have the absolute stud dream team on MaxTV right now. I mean, honestly, I think you guys clicked the wrong link to CNBC and you accidentally went on MaxTV. I think that's the only way I got you guys on here. But we have here Vito Pagano, Peter Daly, and Shawn Smith. Welcome, guys, from GettinLocal.
Thank you for having us on, Max.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anytime. So Vito and I, we go back a little bit. You know, I feel like I know you like forever, but it's been probably like a year or so back and forth. And you guys run GettinLocal hospitality app, which is going to be a huge disruptor in the hospitality space. So to give a little bit of a background, Vito, you worked in merchant services for a long time, right? You were at Bank of America, and you ran your independent merchant group, right?
Correct. So I started off at Bank of America, and I was in charge of the GCIB team, the Global Corporate Investment Bank, for credit card processing. And in 2008, when the economic downturn happened, I saw an opportunity to create a disruptive company. So I built the very first company in the country that created transparency on credit card processing fees. I grew it to be the largest company in the country, and I sold it to private equity in 2016. And dipped my hands into a new technology space as another disruptive company with GettinLocal.
Yeah, so you had clients down the list: Rolex, Make-A-Wish Foundation, American Express Vacations. Speaking of American Express, we'll go over to Peter Daly, who was the head of US acquiring for Visa, which is unbelievable. I don't even know how you're on my show, but you know, Vito says he can make things happen. So glad to have you.
Great. Well, I'm flattered. Thank you.
Yeah. So what was your role in Visa, and how did you come to know Vito? And
Sure. So let me work backwards a little bit. So I know Vito from the days of Bank of America in the merchant services, the global treasury sales world. So that's how I know Vito. And then I left Bank of America, went to Visa, and where I took on a position of head of U.S. acquiring sales for the U.S. It was a great experience, great organization, without a doubt, fantastic organization. And there we led a lot of key initiatives that you see today in your day-to-day life. So everything from contactless acceptance, payments, tokenization of payment information, virtual wallets, a range of different type of activities, including EMV rollout, the chip cards. So yeah, we were quite busy and we had a lot of fun there.
It's incredible that literally I think 1 out of every 3 words in America is Visa. Probably, I'm pretty sure. but it's literally in every single aspect of everybody's life. And so moving on to Shawn Smith, who according to Vito is a technophile. You are a tech junkie apparently, and you've built out digital businesses across the US before. You know the inner workings of software products. You hold a master's degree from Harvard, which is unbelievable. And you also got a BA from Rutgers, which my dad actually went there. And I know that you were studying hard because at Rutgers, their sports programs are terrible. So there's nothing else to do there.
Hey.
Just actually go to class. So I definitely know that you were studying hard, and that's kind of how you probably made it to where you are today, right?
Yeah, look, definitely. I started out many years ago in finance and Dow Jones, working in as a DBA, as a database administrator, and moved into project management. I worked for Brown Brothers Harriman, doing financial software and project management over various products. I then moved into the .com. I got the bug, early 2000s, and really started working on very interesting media-related advertising type projects. I also became a vice president for product development and design at a company called Community Connect. And they built some of the first social networks, believe it or not. One of the first social networks that came out was in 1996, I want to say.
Wow.
So I joined that team later on in the early 2000s and oversaw designers, engineers, QA, all sorts of things. And then I moved into upper management at a company called Radio One, publicly listed, and I oversaw their digital footprint and kind of building new media products. And we built an agency, in fact, across 15 different markets. We engaged well over 25 million people on a regular basis. So that's my background. I met Vito several years ago. Vito is always impressive. He's what I call a beast, right? He just goes headfirst into walls, and he had this fantastic idea in creating this disruptive technology that would earn savings for companies. And so he came to me to put together a software to help with his operation. So that's how we met. I put together a design and a software that would kind of streamline what he was doing and take it to new heights.
So you clearly have no experience whatsoever in this field.
No.
Wow. Oh, so that's a lot. So so Vito, so how did this whole idea with GettinLocal start to begin with?
So I was visiting Mexico. We were there on vacation, and in the hotel lobby were all the paper brochures that you see that are now obsolete. But it was all, large franchise companies, large restaurant chains, shopping centers. And when I was visiting Mexico, I really wanted to experience the culture of the city that I was visiting. And I stepped back and, for my first company, I understood the constraints and limitations with getting in front of travelers from Google AdWords or working with OTAs. So I wanted to develop a concept that really leveled the playing field and empowered any business to create digital ads to get in front of those travelers and locals to create awareness of their services. And right then and there is really where I thought of GettinLocal and figuring out how to change the landscape to empower those smaller companies to get in front of all people that are visiting that destination.
Wow. So Peter, when did you first learn about, you were originally Vito's boss, correct? At Bank of America?
Yeah, at a point in time back in the day, yes.
Back in the day, right? So when did Vito come to you with it? Hey, I got this great idea. When did you first learn about it, and how did you join GettinLocal to begin with?
Sure. Well, actually, it was later on. I was at Visa. I was getting ready to leave Visa at the time. And Vito just grabbed me one day and sent me a message and said, hey, you want to get together for lunch? And you get to see Shawn. I said, great. We got together. He sprung this concept on us. And that's basically how this whole team came together.
So he first bribed you with lunch. Then you didn't even have to get a ticket to a Mets game. You already signed on the dotted line.
Pretty much. He paid for lunch, so that was good.
There we go. All right. Well, so Shawn, is that you have a similar recollection of that? Vito.
Yeah, I vaguely remember a good lunch at the Smith. and that's on the Third Avenue. I think that was one of our first encounters, I believe.
Wow.
But yeah, definitely, it was definitely a quick synergy. Vito was shrewd in identifying who can help him, and he understands his strengths and weaknesses. So he plugged Pete and I, and obviously we had a working relationship in the past. But yeah, it came together very quickly.
Just each of you individually are I can't even say enough about how impressive it is to have all three of you at the same business is like unbelievable. So one thing I do know that, from the time that I do know Vito is that he knows how to build teams and find the people that can do whatever needs to get done. Right, Vito?
100%. So I was going to chime in there. It's not, just the three of us. We have a very broad team that's part of GettinLocal, and, not one person can build a company. So each of us have a strength, as Shawn mentioned earlier, that really that's cascading this company forward and getting the adoption of the platform both throughout the US and Canada. So the whole team coming together. I would say at times you really don't know who the leader is because of the strength of everybody that's within GettinLocal.
Yeah. So what makes GettinLocal different and a disruptor in the hospitality industry? Why don't I start with Peter?
So GettinLocal is quite unique in the marketplace, and in many respects, there's nothing like our solution today. So what we've done is how we disrupt the marketplace is we're doing a couple of things. We're empowering hospitality companies with the ability to engage their customers and their guests ongoingly when they first visit and post visits. It also gives them a tool to help build loyalty within their marketplaces and help their guests discover all the things that are around that hotel or lodging establishment for the very reason why they came there to begin with, right? To give them that local experience. So it's just such a dynamic application that it really separates us from anybody else who's in this space.
Right. And Shawn, I was probably one of the first, when I first heard about GettinLocal and Vito told me it was probably about a year ago or so, I downloaded the app immediately. And then obviously when I look at it now, it's different. What, like from the technological side, which is where you probably had all your hands all over, like what makes it more unique?
Yeah, it's the technology itself is essentially a combination of technologies, right? You're looking at a huge database that pulls in various types of contents from different sources. We have curators, that come in and contribute content, and then we have the front end, which is the app side of things, right? And that's entirely a different technology. So we've somehow made all of this seamless, right? But for me, the most unique part is the space itself, right? So it's the hospitality industry, and we got there through a pivot. We wanted to empower local businesses, and Vito somehow went away and had this revelation and said, we need to really center ourselves around the hotel space. That's how we engage people. And it made all the sense in the world, and I can't believe how timely it was actually. But it's really the space. The technology itself, yeah, definitely we're doing some unique things, but it's really how we bend that technology to meet this kind of disruptive thing that we're doing in the hotel space.
Yeah, and so Vito, so when you first imagined what GettinLocal was and to where it is today, did you ever imagine it would come to this point, or like did you ever imagine this was the direction you were going?
So what I learned from building my first software company out is that you have to be able to react and pivot very quickly. So we brought our own in-house development team on board, and the opportunity that we had from my previous company of speaking to my former clients from hotels to restaurants allowed us to hear what pain points they had, what limitations and constraints they had. And we were able to come back and develop solutions to kind of overcome those pain points that delivered value and revenues back to the hotel.
Wow. And so, Peter, obviously you guys have a lot of experience in the payment processing business. So if someone uses a MasterCard, do you charge them double?
That's very fun. No. Actually, the good news is we do not engage ourselves in the financial transaction between the business and the mobile user, which is great. So we're really just a tremendous marketing tool that connects the two parties together. and we don't insert ourselves in that transaction. And I would not charge more for MasterCard anyway.
I know. I'm just messing. Yeah,
If I
Vito,
could
sorry,
just-
you want to-
Yeah, no, if I could just add to that, really what the platform has done is become a super aggregator. So we're now able to facilitate bookings, whether it be for a reservation to a hotel or tickets to the aquarium. And what makes it so unique and disruptive is that when we facilitate that booking, the merchant of record is the brand. So therefore, they maintain 100% of the revenues. There's no third-party interference, no commissions or OTA fees. They get paid quicker because they are the merchant of record. So we're seeing that by delivering that one-on-one communication, we're driving obviously bookings, revenues back to the different venues, but it's serving as more value to the different amenities that we're aligned to.
So Vito, when you started this, like, was there anything even close to anything in regards to GettinLocal?
So no, and there still is not. We're the first of its kind technology. There's nothing here off the shelf. Everything's custom built. And I would say it's very similar to my first company. We were the first to market. We were disruptive. We grew very quickly. And we're seeing the same thing happen here. There's no technology like us out there. We have our own team so we can react quickly. And as we hear different needs, wants, and desires, we're able to develop them very quickly.
Shawn, what would you consider from a technological perspective, what is your competitive advantage, I would say?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. The one thing that I know is unique about GettinLocal is that we push information, right? Content regarding attractions, activities, entertainment, restaurants. We push it to the user, and so we take out the work that a user has to do to find things, right? You literally are then surrounded and almost beleaguered with things to do when you get to a place, which is exactly what you want, right? If you're traveling, you're in a city, you want to know what's going on. Often you have to do the work, the research, and talk to your concierge, whatever it is. And we pull all this information and we give it to you, right? So I think that's one of the most unique things we do with our GPS technology.
Wow. Yeah. What is your strategy as far as building it out, making every consumer know about it, and downloading the app?
So what we're doing to gain a lot of attraction and awareness of the platform is we're aligning with hotels. So we're able to give their guests a comprehensive all-in-one solution where they can discover everything around the hotel property and through the front doors. What's nice about the technology is that it's dynamic. So as that guest leaves the hotel and explores different parts of the city, we could fit their on-demand needs when they're looking for reviews, recommendations, or just things to do. So we're seeing a lot of growth of our platform through our hotel partnerships. We're doing a lot of social media campaign, mail drip campaigns, banner ads, boosted ads, like campaigns. We're co-branding with partners to introduce the technology before they arrive in a destination. So we're seeing a lot of these different initiatives driving the downloads and the growth of the platform.
Right. And you mentioned to me, I believe it was like last month, you got 10,000 downloads, I believe.
So we just scratched the service in the last 90 days. And to me, that's extremely impressive considering some hotels are only at 3 to 5% occupancy. And we're seeing now that the vaccine is going out that, travelers are beginning to return again, but to have that type of adoption in 90 days is extremely attractive for an app like ours because the travel industry was the hardest hit space. So we are seeing through the growth of our platform that travelers are beginning to return to the different destinations.
Right. So Shawn, so essentially someone would walk into a hotel, right? And there would be a barcode. I guess all you have to do is just scan. And you can just download the app there and be like, as opposed to calling downstairs the concierge, you could just find on your phone all local restaurants in the area, right? And just book from there.
Yeah. We use a QR code. It's placed on all the marketing collateral we have. We send over to hotels. And between talking it up, from the front desk and actually seeing some of this collateral, also in the rooms, they'll be able to download the app and immediately get immersed. Exactly.
Right. So Peter, where do you see GettinLocal going? How big do you think this can get? What is your vision for the company?
Wow. So I great question. I see tremendous opportunity both domestically and throughout North America, but also globally. I see the use of our application to be widely used for the hospitality industry, but also for destinations and attractions, entertainment, food and beverage. They all kind of collaborate into this ecosystem so they make themselves discoverable. And I do think there's a tremendous opportunity on the global space, because we've already received inquiries from different entities around the globe who asked how we could be supported in those countries. So I really do see this as a very ubiquitous platform. It's flexible and it's dynamic, being that, whether you're in San Francisco, when you travel to New York and jump on a plane and potentially go up to Toronto, your whole experience is the same. In other words, it works for you the way you want, but it shows you everything that's been pushed to you locally. It gives you that local experience. So it's a really dynamic solution that has global potential.
Right, and essentially at the end of the day, it does help local businesses, right? Because when Vito was in Mexico and he was in that hotel, he mentioned he was in that hotel, he wanted local Mexican food. He had flyers for Applebee's, right? And so this is going to push more traffic into those local establishments, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, what we're doing is really supporting the community, the shopping, the attractions, the restaurants, everything that's around that hotel, which ultimately is why that guest visited the destination in the first place. So we're seeing our platform really supporting everything around that property to promote the shopping, the activities, the attractions, the museums.
Right. So Vito, you're gaining a lot of traction right now. However, with any business, even established businesses, there's always challenges, there's always problems. What has been your biggest challenge so far to date?
So I think the biggest challenge is really COVID for us. There was so much uncertainty in the market. First, we were supposed to shut down for 2 weeks, and then it went to 2 months, and we're still in it now. So I think the biggest roadblock we've encountered is creating awareness of the app, because there was so much uncertainty of when hotels or attractions would begin to reopen.
Well, yeah. So, Shawn, so what has your experience so far been working with the GettinLocal team, working with Peter, working with Vito? How's it been so far?
Oh, it's been fun. As anyone knows, in starting a new business, starting a new venture, you're constantly running into hurdles, right? It's inevitable, right? And the one thing I'd say about this team is that it's resilient, right? And when I say we will sit in a meeting and, ideas are like flying, and, Vito's got ADD, so we go, we go around corners and bends and
functioning.
But functioning ADD,
extremely high functioning, I would say.
Yeah, but let me say it's a talent almost, right? We always come around to a solution, right? And it's amazing. We've done and have accomplished so much, the three of us, and we've expanded our team as Vito mentioned earlier. But in the short time that we've been around, we've accomplished so much, and that's because of the versatility and the tenacity, right, to make this happen. So it's a great group to work with.
Right.
Yeah, and so my channel is mainly about entrepreneurship, and I don't know if I can find a better example of entrepreneur than Vito Pagano. Honestly, he's like a bull of the horns, and don't stand in his way when he wants something.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you started your own bit. Like, so what would be a message you would tell to a aspiring entrepreneur, or someone's kind of hesitant, they want to start their own business, they just never really crossed that hurdle? What would you tell them?
I would say you don't know until you try, and you should never have regrets. So if it's something that you believe in and you're passionate about it, take the challenge. It's not a risk. If you believe in it, it's not a risk, it's a challenge. And create that business model and start showing people and businesses the value of it. And if you have to give it out to them to experience the true value of the service that you're providing, give it to them, because the revenue follows as you start having people endorse your brand and stand behind it. So I'm a big supporter of entrepreneurial spirit and taking the initiative to start something.
And as someone like myself who also has ADHD, you represent us in the best way possible. So I have to give a standing ovation for that one as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. So so final thoughts, Peter. Was there anything we haven't covered or that you would like to say about Getting Local?
Wow. Well, I'll talk about the team first of all, because we just kind of finished up on that. The team is very dynamic. We all have a common purpose, right? We have all great ideas, but I really like the organization because as we run into opportunities or day-to-day challenges that occur, we get together quickly, we work it through, and then we move on. And it makes it such an enjoyable and productive environment. So knock wood, that's been our success thus far. I also really am proud of what we built because, again, that ubiquity that can take us from the small town, right, or destination, seaside destination to a global marketplace, that it really is encompassing for all types of businesses. From the largest business to the smallest business, they all have the ability to be represented on our platform, which is really a powerful thing. Yeah,
I mean, as I mentioned before, each of you individually have the experience. You've done it before. The fact that you all are working in tandem together, you guys are like true professionals who are working together and coming out with solutions. I feel like, for a normal team to do something, it might take them, let's say, a month. It'll take you guys 5 minutes. I don't know if I'm wrong or not, but just
there's a lot of trial and error.
We'll decide if it's going to happen in 5 minutes.
That's right.
There we go. There you go. Shawn, so anything we haven't covered, maybe final thoughts on the whole Getting Local?
No, just get ready.
There you go. There you go.
Coming, the travel industry across the world employs about 330 million people, right? So that's a lot of people. It also gives us fertile ground for us to trample on, So I think Get Local has a lot to offer. We're in, North America, doing great things in Canada right now, and I think you could look forward to seeing us overseas, crossing the pond, and maybe in the Caribbean.
There we go. As long as they're in New York and Miami, I'm happy because then I can use them. Vito, so if someone wants to get on Getting Local or wants to download the app, how do they do so?
So we're both a Apple and Android store. The app is completely free to download. You can enjoy all the benefits of everything in your hometown and when you visit a new destination. For businesses, we built the first self-service platform where you can make an ad that works on any mobile device. And it's really simple. You visit GettinLocal.com and you can register and build your campaign and publish it in just minutes. I would also like to extend, we are giving the app out for businesses completely complimentary. So an attraction and activity can start creating their own digital ad, start driving engagement directly to their brand. And hotels can come on and start learning the benefits of our automated push alert system, which is driving revenues to the amenities, to the spa, to the restaurant, or future bookings directly back to the brand while removing the OTA involvement. And we extend that complimentary to the hotels, and we will revisit and gauge the success of the app by the different properties and determine how we move forward. But at this time, there's no cost to enjoy the benefits of our technology.
That's awesome. And so I will also be leaving links down below. It's gettinlocal.com. I wanted to thank Vito, Peter, and Shawn for all coming on. Really unbelievable experience for me. I really appreciate you guys coming on.
Thank you, Max.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. There you go. Who decides on what you order for dinner? Is that Vito or? All right, bad question. I'll cut that out.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.